I don't know what it was, but for some reason the poster had me thinking it was going to be one of those crappy YouTube original movies.
It's true what they say. The rich really are different.
Hello there everybody, it's me, the Canadian Movie Buff, with a review of Ready or Not. All I can say is if the sequel isn't called Ready or Not, Here I Come, that's just a missed opportunity. Grace has recently married into the wealthy Le Dumas family, who made their fortune off a board game empire. As tradition, when a new member joins the family, they must pick a card that has the name of a game on it, and whatever game they draw, that's what they'll play. Grace ends up drawing Hide and Seek, which sounds innocent enough, but there's a deadly twist, and now Grace finds herself in a fight for survival against her new in-laws. This movie was written by a pair who worked together previously on a few episodes of Castle Rock, and that was about the most notable thing I found on their IMDb. Going into this, I was expecting some creepy elements, but I couldn't really get a gauge for the movie from the trailers. And what the movie was trying to be was a dark comedy with some gory kills and the occasional scare. It tries to find this balance of fun and thrilling, but it just ends up bouncing between the two. The cast of characters are eccentric, but they do get you invested in them, if not for the kills, then for the banter. On the surface, they look like an ordinary family, but below that, they have a little bit of a dark underside to it. It's unsettling because they look normal, but they also have a bit of a weird, darker side to them. But it's because of this clash of different characters with the creepy auntie-in-law, the coked-out sister-in-law, and the brother-in-law who goes through a bit of a redemption arc in the movie. They're characters that they get you interested and want you to be invested in them. Some of them make more of a lasting impression than others, but for what it's worth, they do capture your attention every time they pop up on screen. Earlier I said it bounces back between two different elements, and while the transition may not be the smoothest, it can be darkly hilarious when it can be, and it can also be disturbing and thrilling when it really tries. Whenever the movie jumps, it always lands, but not exactly very square on its feet. To clarify that jumping analogy, let's say you're jumping down from a small cliff down onto a creek. What this movie does is it jumps and lands, but oftentimes it either goes back and lands on its butt, or it goes too far forward and lands on its hands and knees. It doesn't exactly fare. I mean, they did make the attempt, but it feels very sloppy and it could have been put together better. The transitions between funny and freaky are so inconsistent and random that it's kind of difficult to make heads or tails of it. There are moments where it's like, this is nice, this is funny, and it's like, oh, we're dialing back up to 10. Okay, I guess. And then it tries to break the tension with a little joke, and you just end up sitting there thinking, well, that was weird. Now, this may or may not be intentional, but there were moments where the CGI looked fake, especially the ending where it gets incredibly gory. I don't know if they were trying to go for this B-movie aesthetic where it was supposed to be this dumb, thrilling thing, but because the movie wants to take itself seriously in that this is a grade A movie, this is something that is really trying to be this dark, gritty, funny, this whole collage of genres that's stuck together by gum. This is what makes the movie really stumble and sometimes come close to falling. Ready or Not could have had the best of both worlds as a fun revenge movie, a dark comedy, and even a straight-up horror, but it ends up being a fairly by-the-numbers chase movie with some comedic timing and horror moments thrown in to mix it up a bit. It doesn't feel like the writers were really thinking this through. They decided to make this movie and realized that it wasn't original enough, so they tossed in some things here and there to spice it up. And while that doesn't go unnoticed, the taste of it wears off pretty quick. I didn't hate this movie. I mean, Samara Weaving gives a good performance, even though all her character does is run and hide. Daniel was definitely the most interesting character in the entire movie. There's a recurring gag that usually results in the death of a character, and it does get a laugh every time. There's also a running gag in this movie that results in the death of a background character, and it does get a morbid laugh every time it happens. Even when you think you've got the formula down and you know when it's coming, the movie either jumps to it before you're expecting it, or waits until you've gotten your guard down a little. At the end of the day, it could have been much better, but it could have also been worse. It's perfectly fine as it is, but it's only worth seeing if it's at the cheap seats. Alright, that's my review of Ready or Not. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Leave your answers and thoughts in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and hit the bell icon if you're new here. And as always, this is the Canadian Movie Buff saying I hope you had a fantastic weekend at the movies. See ya!